both. So I'm going to begin with for the record, I want to state a few things on the record. We're here today relative to Mr. Rose's modification petition that was filed of record on January 28th of 2021. He filed a modification petition through the Domestic Relations Office seeking a termination of the child support obligation. In support of that, briefly, his reasons for filing were fraudulent calculation and determination of support, misapplication of guidelines, perjury by domestic relations officers and agents, and the plaintiff in the above captioned case, unlawful due process interference and intimidations to be requested for individual orders to be audited, and attached is a document to his modification petition, which is a petition to proceed in forma pauperis, which actually is something that needs to be presented to a judge for approval, not to domestic relations.
All of those documents were submitted to Zach from Judge Walsh's chambers by Judge Walsh himself, orders from him himself, because domestic relations has not been accepting any of my files, and Amy DeMatt has also been involved with this matter too.
Well, the petition for modification was accepted, otherwise we wouldn't even be here today. So they accepted your modification.
Right. Judge Walsh
in support of that, okay. In support of that, I'm just indicating for the record that there's a document referred to as notice to the court, and multiple pages of single-spaced explanations by Mr. Rose attached to the petition for modification.
Would this be a conflict of...
Hang on. Just 1 second, please, sir.
Sure.
We have to speak one at a time so that the recording can get everything that is being said. So following the petition for modification, both of you received a notification for the conference. The conference was conducted on February 22nd of 2021. As a result of the conference, a new order of court was entered, dated February 22nd, 2021, that kept the existing order of court in full force and effect, and that existing order of court was dated November 14th of 2019. And attached to the order were specific findings of fact made by the domestic relations officer relative to both of your income figures and documentation. So
I have one question.
Just a second, sir. From there, Mr. Rose filed the appeal requesting a de novo hearing, and all de novo hearings have been conducted by telephone now for almost a year, actually beyond a year. So that's the purpose of today, is to for me to conduct a de novo hearing regarding the petition for modification. That's we're going to begin with testimony. Was there something you were about to say, Mr. Rose?
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's a conflict of interest if you were the trier of fact in 2020, the January 2020 hearing that stated that the previous findings were correct even after receiving Jennifer's W-2s that included additional incomes from a second employer for the 2019 tax year.
Well, to answer your question, no, it's not a conflict of interest. I am the only support de novo hearing officer for Westmoreland County, so there is no one else to hear this.
But if I have a perjury claim against you on this case,
for the record, let me answer. And I in many cases hear the same cases repeatedly, as this is my job, and multiple times in child support and spousal support matters, people file modification petitions and the matters come back before me multiple times on the same case. So, and specifically as to your issue from whenever I would have previously heard this case, whatever was submitted, and my findings would have addressed any W-2s that would have been submitted at that time. So we're not here regarding anything that was heard in the past.
I
relative
understand
only
that.
to
I
your-
understand
just
that.
1 second, please. We're here relative only to your petition to modify that you filed in January.
Okay.
We're not revisiting anything from last year or the year before or
No,
any other year.
I'm not asking that. The only question was a conflict of interest if I have a perjury case against you specifically for lying on the record against factual information that was submitted after the fact that you got to see that was a substantial change compared to what happened previous. That's all. But all right, moving forward, where do we start?
I've addressed that, and there is no conflict of interest, sir.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Ms. Blackrovich a series of questions. You'll have the opportunity to ask her any questions that you'd like to ask, and then I'm going to ask you, sir, some questions, and Ms. Carnicella will have the ability to ask you any questions regarding your testimony. So that's the method in which we proceed. So, Ms. Carnicella, could you state your name for the record, please?
Jennifer Carnicella Walkovich.
And what is your address, please, ma'am?
Altoona, PA 16602.
16602?
Yes.
And what county are you residing in?
Blair.
Okay. And how old are you, ma'am? And briefly, what is your educational background? Did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school, and I also have my bachelor's degree in elementary education.
Okay, when did you obtain that?
2011.
Okay, and where did you obtain that?
Penn State, Altoona.
Okay. Do you have any additional education or background, trades, certificates, anything relevant to employment?
I'm dual certified to teach pre-K through 6th grade.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any health or medical concerns that prevent you from working in any capacity?
No.
Where are you employed, ma'am?
Preschool. I work for the pre-K count program.
Can you repeat that? You work for which? What did you just say?
The pre-K count program.
Okay. And what is that?
It's a state-funded program similar to Head Start.
Okay. And when did you begin your employment at Begin With Us Childcare?
I started as an assistant in the end of March or beginning of April of 2019.
And what's your title now?
I'm lead teacher now.
Are you paid on a salary or are you paid by the hour?
Salary.
And what is your salary?
$36,000 if you like.
$36,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Nope.
So you don't receive any type of overtime, is that correct?
Sure.
I didn't hear your answer.
Correct.
And ma'am, are you paid bi-weekly?
Yes.
Do you have any type of union dues or mandatory retirement?
No.
In advance of the hearing today, did you submit your pay stubs for the court's consideration?
Yes.
Okay. And the pay stubs that you've submitted are, I believe there's a series of pay stubs from February that probably were submitted to the conference officer, and then you recently submitted 3 pay stubs, April 15th, April 29th, and May 13th. Is that right?
Correct.
And you've also submitted for the court's consideration your W-2 from 2020.
correct.
Okay. I'm going to mark those as your Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Mr. Rose, do you have any objection to that exhibit, the court considering her pay stubs and W-2?
Yes. So, according to Pennsylvania child support calculation under Rule 1910, she's required to provide 6 months of previous pay stubs, and she's also to submit any other income regardless of its source. I had attached one of my exhibits from our local senator that had also given me a copy of this rule that states that monthly income is based on the 6-month average of all parties' income and contributions toward the support of a child, including wages, salaries, bonuses, fees, and commissions, net income from business or dealings in property, interest, rent, royalties, dividends, pensions, forms of retirement, and income from an interest in an estate or trust, Social Security disability benefits, Social Security retirement benefits, temporary and permanent disability.
That's okay, Mr. Rose, let me stop you there, sir. I'm familiar with the definition of income under the statute.
Okay, but the last hearing you specifically wrote in the order that I did not include the text or the cited law, and it states in this last sentence that other entitlements of money or some awards without regard to its source. Jennifer is also married, and she has for at least 6 years claimed that she would only work part-time hours because her husband was providing for the family, and his income is to be calculated because, once again, on the on Rule 1916-1, it says that I'm pulling it up here. The general rule is issued by the Supreme Court so that the person similarly situated shall be treated similarly. The guidelines shall be based upon the reasonable needs of the child or the spouse seeking support and the ability of the obligor to provide support. So Jennifer is receiving or claiming a married and joint tax return, which indicates that she is claiming her husband's income along with her income, and she is not submitting that information to the courts. Also, she isn't including her family support. That they have connected properties together, and her family provides for absolutely any expense that she needs. And Jennifer has sent me several text messages stating that she won't put my son in different sports activities because it costs $45 and that's too much money to spend. And she says that the money that she receives in child support is to go to her family and not our son.
All right, so let me address what you've just stated.
Sure.
First of all, I have not yet asked the plaintiff about any additional income. I asked you whether you had any objection for me looking at her pay stubs.
Right.
And based upon your objection is overruled.
She's supposed to have 6 months. It's by law.
Sir,
it's law.
Sir, let me speak. I have her W-2 income, and I have enough pay stubs to make a determination because pay stubs contain year-to-date information. So in all cases, not just with this particular case.
Not when she's getting paid by family.
Pay stubs. Sir, let me speak. Finish.
Sure.
Let me finish, please. So your objection is overruled, and the plaintiff's exhibit number 1 will be admitted because I have to have income information from both sides in order to do my job and make a determination in this case. Relative to other income, Ms. Carnicella, do you have any other income from any other source, ma'am?
My income? No. Are you speaking of my husband's income?
First of all, what is your husband's name, please? Okay. And is he employed?
Yes.
Okay. And does he earn an income, ma'am? the ability to ask you questions regarding his income. I'm gonna go back to my questions, which is relative to your income, ma'am. Are you employed full time?
Yes.
What is full time, please? What do your hours look like?
I work 8:15 to 4:45.
Okay, and is that 5 days a week?
Yes, Monday through Friday.
So, is that approximately a full 40-hour work week?
Yes.
Okay. And you've already indicated that you don't work any overtime in your position, correct?
Correct. I'm salary. I don't earn overtime.
And you've stated already that you've been working in this position for about 2 years, at this employer for 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Regarding the minor child, I understand is 11 years old, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you have primary physical custody of Travis?
Yes.
And do you have an order of court, custody order, that awards you primary physical custody?
Yes.
Okay. And is that through Westmoreland County or through Blair County?
From Blair County.
Okay. Do you happen to know the year that that order was entered?
2010.
It's different than the original one. He was born in 2010, and we've had one since then. But I think the newest one is from 2014.
Okay. And what custody arrangements does Mr. Rose have with the minor child?
He gets him every other weekend. We share holidays. We take, every other year we flip-flop holidays. And he gets them for an additional week each month in the summer.
And do you follow that order then?
Yes.
Okay. So every other weekend, is it Friday through Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Do you cover for health insurance?
My husband does.
Okay. Did you submit information relative to the healthcare coverage that covers Travis?
I submitted his health insurance card, but I was told before it doesn't matter because my husband pays for the family rate.
Okay. And that was my next question. And how many people are covered on this policy through your husband?
Five.
Okay. So there's no specific amount that's apportioned to.
Correct.
Okay. And do you happen to know what the family rate is that your husband pays?
It's 200 something a month, I believe. I think it's 100 something a pay.
And again, that covers five individuals.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you file your income taxes, do you file married filing jointly or as head of household?
Jointly.
Okay. And do you claim the minor child on your income tax return?
Yeah.
Mr. Rose, do you have any questions for Ms. Wachowicz?
Yes.
It has to be a question or not a statement.
Okay. You stated that we've had our custody order since 2010, which I agreed, and you also stated that you always follow the custody agreement. do you have any idea how many contempts have been filed against you for refusal to follow the custody orders?
Sir, we're not getting into, this is not a custody proceeding. This is a support hearing. So we're not getting into custody contempts.
Okay,
You have
but
to direct your questions regarding the testimony that she gave regarding support and income.
I'm trying to clarify something to make sure that she doesn't commit perjury against herself. And that's what I'm trying to verify. She just stated to you that she follows the custody order all the time. And there was 43 contempts filed against her in just 4 years. We just had another 4 contempts that were heard in January.
They were all unfounded. I follow
Okay.
custody order.
That's not okay. Moving on. You said that you're married filing jointly. Do you know how many years you've been filing jointly and married on your taxes?
What does that have to do with anything?
Ma'am, if you could just answer the question.
Since we've been married, we got married in 2013.
Okay. And how long have you been claiming Travis on your taxes as well?
Since he was born.
Since he was born. And do you report the earned income credit with your earnings statement that you're supposed to submit to domestic relations for your for our modifications?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, sir?
Do you report your tax returns to your tax returns, including your child income credit that you receive as income, when you report to these modification conferences with your income statement?
If you can answer that, ma'am.
No, I turn in my W-2 and all that information.
So you do not turn in your tax return information as income?
No.
And have you been aware that I've offered free or reduced health care to be paid by me in the past or recent past?
He doesn't need health care. He has health care.
Do you know what an approximate income that your combined income between you and your husband is, or your entire household income that contribute to the family?
I'm not sure.
I'm married since 2012. No more questions?
My husband pays, so yes, he has an income, but he pays union dues and health insurance, and he also pays almost $800 a month in child support for his daughter.
That's okay. Thank you. Just 1 second, please.
Six. For one.
Okay. Mr. Rose, can you state your name for the record?
Yes. Zero one.
And your age?
31.
And are you a high school graduate?
Yes.
Have you graduated or received any additional degrees beyond high school?
I have I'm still a college student.
Where do you attend college?
Strayer University.
Are you currently enrolled as a student?
I am not. I was up until this semester, and my next semester starts here in July.
Are you married, sir?
Yes.
Your wife's name? And when were you married?
August 2012.
Okay. Do you have any health or medical concerns that prevent you from working?
No.
Are you currently employed?
No.
Where were you most recently employed? And how did you come to no longer be working there? Did you leave that job, or were you terminated?
I was terminated. There was also issues relating to policies and changes of policies without updating the employees, and I was notified by domestic relations that since November 25th, my child support has not been paid, even though it was garnished. And I contacted our payroll department, and they had records to show that they were paying the child support. And it was a fiasco. But
When did you begin working at Lodge?
November 25th.
Of 2020?
Yep.
And when did you, when were you terminated from that employment?
I don't know the date.
Well, ballpark, when did you stop working there?
Last month.
So April of 2021?
It was the end of March. It was like a week after St. Patrick's Day.
And what was your job title there?
Security.
Were you employed full-time?
Yes.
Was that 40 hours a week?
Yes.
And what was your wage there?
It was $12.50.
$12.50 an hour?
Yes.
Were you paid bi-weekly?
Yes.
And you stated that you were terminated. For what reason were you terminated?
They said it was for attendance points. A week before my termination, I had a 90-day review with no complaints or any issues, and the following day I got notice of 8 attendance points for digital time punches that were 1 minute late, and I was told for at least 3 months before that my supervisor is the one that's responsible for correcting the time clock entries, and it no longer happened. I was told that if it happens one more time, I'm getting fired. We had a family emergency a week after that notice. We had a family emergency that I wasn't able to make it to work on time, and that was it.
Have you applied for unemployment?
I have.
Are you receiving unemployment?
I am not.
When did you apply?
I have an open claim since June of 2020, but I don't qualify for unemployment. So, I mean, I immediately tried to submit, the biweekly claims once my employment terminated.
And you have not received any unemployment?
Nope. I got
Are they contesting unemployment?
Yeah. They called me a little over a week ago to explain to me that because I got terminated, I don't qualify.
Have you received any pandemic unemployment compensation, any pandemic relief?
Pandemic relief? No.
Yes.
I'm still trying to reach them for that. That's been since June.
Do you have any other income from any other source?
My wife just started working, but other than that, no. My wife hasn't worked in several years.
And are you looking for a new job, sir?
No.
What efforts have you made to find employment?
None.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I honestly believe that because I am paying more in child support than my family can even survive. I've been on welfare for several years, getting the maximum benefits. I work up to 120 hours a pay and don't get paid because I've always been commission based as a flat rate automotive technician or laborer, and my child support has exceeded my entire family income, that I literally work for free, have to hitch rides for my family to get to school, get to work, get to our family. There is no reason for me to work if I am not receiving any benefit for my family to do so.
You just stated, sir, that you were working at the casino.
That is correct.
Earning an income.
Because up until I lost my job at the casino, I did everything I possibly could to make sure that I had a roof over my family's head and food in their bellies. I've had to switch more than 55 jobs because of the miscalculations of child support being astronomically ridiculous, over the top, and improperly calculated. Just to find that Jennifer is admittedly and intentionally using it just because she has a problem with me. She wants me away from our son. She's refused to have me sign, or she's refused to have my name even put on the birth certificate of my son since 2010.
That's okay. We're not here for any reasons related to
you just asked. I was explaining.
Birth certificate and things like that, things such as that. How do you file your income taxes?
Married jointly.
Okay. And you have an additional child that you support?
Yes.
And that child's name? And how old is? Any other children that you are supporting? Biological children?
I am supporting in my care. I'm also supporting additional to that.
Sir, you've offered a number of documents. What are you submitting today?
First,
relative to these documents?
First, I'd like to submit my actual pay stub from the casino that shows that by February 19th, I believe you might even have a copy of this. my entire.
You just provided it to my secretary.
Okay, well.
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay. My net pay after taxes and such was $1,849 for the year to date. Also, I'd like to point out another exhibit, which includes a letter from Jennifer's attorney indicating that they are finally getting my name put on my son's birth certificate that was ordered by a judge, and a supporting document that shows that this has been a continuous thing since at minimum 2013, with several contempts filed against her for refusing to put my name on the birth certificate.
Right, so I'll mark those as an exhibit, defendant's exhibit A. Any objection, Ms. Walkovich?
No.
Okay, anything further, Mr. Rose?
Yes, I also included a copy of the poverty guidelines that Tina from Domestic Relations was using to calculate my child support obligation, and she had very expressly explained that this is the same. This goes the whole way around the state that it was set up in 2008, and the computer system states that it will only leave me as a single father with a maximum of $996 to live on, because that is the poverty line, so they would not exceed that. And that's where they were creating the child support orders against me that only left me with $996 to provide for my family of 3. If
you're referring to the child support guidelines in Pennsylvania, the court, doesn't need to take judicial notice of the law.
Okay.
Excuse me. Let me speak, please. Court's familiar with the self-support reserve for every individual in this state.
Well, that's why I'm supporting this information, because the information was done incorrectly, and that's why I have to support all necessary documents. I could bring in the Brady doctrine if necessary. Also, I included
today, sir, the poverty guidelines.
The 2008 poverty guidelines,
Is that what you're offering as an exhibit?
I am offering that as an exhibit because the 2008 guidelines are what her calculator and her computer is using to calculate the child support, which is incorrect. She is with the law, with Pennsylvania code. It states that it must be updated every year with the national federal poverty guidelines, and they haven't done that unless you specifically ask them to. And I also included another exhibit, which includes the 2021 federal poverty level guidelines, which is a substantial amount different, but again, it was calculated as if I was a single father by myself, or a single person living in my home as in a single dwelling home. The poverty guideline would have been $12,880, which is substantially higher than the $11,960 that I was appropriated for. But even though they state that they include my wife and my child as dependents, it was not reflected in the actual calculation. And the calculation is also included in 1910.16-5 in the actual chart that's included with the law, with calculating the child support as well.
Ms. Watkovich, do you have any objection to Defendant's Exhibit B?
No.
It'll be admitted as Defendant's Exhibit Exhibit B, the federal 2008-2021 poverty guidelines. Any other exhibits, sir?
Yes, I included a corresponding email from our senator that included what the calculation of child support is made, and on the second page, it states directly from her, and I'm just going to read this. It says, "As for
I don't have any email in this pile of documents.
I don't have the original. I got the copy from your office. Let me check here real quick to see if he gave me the original as well." Well, it's citing the law, so I'll just read it off here. As for reduced or fluctuating income, which commission-based pay would be considered if it falls below a 6-month average of total income, adjustments and support are made. However, appropriate adjustments are made for substantial continuing involuntary decreases in income, including but not limited to the result of illness, layoff, termination, job elimination, or other employment situation over which the party has no control, unless the trier of fact finds that such a reduction of income was willfully undertaken in an attempt to avoid or reduce the support obligation. Also, I would like to submit my exhibits for my IRS transcripts for my wife and I's combined incomes for, I'm trying to see here, it's 2019, 2000, I don't know if 2020 is here. 2020 is here with all of my W-2s. My wife didn't work, so that was included. I'm trying to see.
There's 4 documents here.
Yeah, with
revenue service.
Correct, and you can see that with all of our W-2 submissions combined total, in 2017, our combined income gross was $27,481, and in 2018. Our entire household income was $6,713. Oh, I'm sorry, that might be W-2s here. Let me see here. That one's not written the same way as the other one. And in 2020, our combined income was $16,981. 2019, our total income was $8,096.
Are you offering those as an exhibit, sir?
Yes, for accurate earned income for my home.
Walkovich, any objection to any of those documents being marked as Defendant's Exhibit C today and admitted to the record?
No.
Okay, they're admitted. Anything further, Mr. Rose?
I have no more exhibits, but I would like to point out that we have to provide 2 separate birthday parties for our child, so I have to provide the cost and upkeep for my son's birthdays, holidays, including Christmas gifts, his cell phone, his clothes, and the food that is not apportioned by the welfare system, because he does not reside with us on a permanent basis. So I have to provide that out of pocket in addition to my maximum benefits that I already received. Also, I have to provide transportation from pickup, which on a weekly basis, it costs approximately $20 in fuel. We live obviously a substantial distance apart from Altoona to Greensburg. We meet in the middle. I see here in 1910-16-1 paragraph 2 under the title of net income, it says the custodial parent makes these contributions entirely through the direct expenditures for food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and other reasonable needs, in addition to any direct expenditures on the child's behalf. The non-custodial parent makes contributions only through periodic support payments, which means that, from my interpretation of that, with her receiving child support, that would mean that she possesses 100% of all financial responsibility of our child, both direct and indirect. If I'm supposed to provide,
that's the court to interpret and apply the law. So appreciate that. But anything further in terms of documents, sir? Because at this point, there are no questions being asked. You're simply just
about custody.
Arguing the law to the hearing officer. And Ms. Watkovich, do you have any questions on cross-examination for Mr. Rose regarding his testimony?
No.
I would like to add one more thing. It was just pointed out to me here.
Yes, sir.
I know that you asked Jennifer if we had a custody order and if she had primary custody. On the order itself, since 2010, we've had equal, shared, physical, and legal custody of the child. And our visitation schedule has changed multiple times over the course of the last 10 years. And
okay, all I'm interested in is what you're currently doing. She's indicated that you have partial custody on alternate weekends. You have a week every month of the summer, and you share holidays. Are you telling me that that's not the custody arrangement that you have?
That is the arrangement that we have, but I would like to point out that it is substantial. I do have substantial physical face-to-face involvement in my custody of my child that I am providing support for. And when I am being calculated for the child support obligation, I am being calculated as if absolutely identical to somebody who has absolutely no rights to even see their child. And that's what I'm trying to express to you, that it's literally written in the law for calculating the child support that there has to be, it doesn't say a specified amount of child support, it says substantial, and I have substantial support.
Okay, and you have him for alternate weekend overnights from Friday to Sunday, is that
right,
correct?
which is 38% of the year's overnights.
Okay, and this has been your arrangement, is that correct, sir? Alternate weekends with Travis.
Yes, this has been the arrangement. However, there was 7 contempts filed in 2020 for 2019 and 2020 for Jennifer not following the custody schedule and denying my summer visitation and a couple other holidays that involved and birthdays and things like that. There was a couple different circumstances where she was not following the custody schedule, and for whatever reason,
Okay. We're not here for custody, but I just need to know what the custody arrangement is, where I'm not the custody judge who's determining any outcome of any alleged contempt. So let me ask you, sir, during the summer, do you also get alternate weekends, or do you have just 1 week
No, I have
for June, 1 week in July, and 1 week for August?
I have 1 week in July, 1 week in August, 1 week in June, in addition to my weekends.
Okay, thank you. So there's no further questions. I have all the exhibits. My job as the hearing officer is to take a look at the child support. First of all, take a look at your testimony and the exhibits, examine the exhibits, and put together a recommendation for the judge who's assigned to this case regarding findings of fact, legal conclusions, and a recommended order. So conclude the hearing today.
No.
Any further, Mr. Rice?
I'm just double checking some of my notes and such here. Rule 1910-16-2, relating to treatment of public assistance and SSI benefits. It states in here that those are not calculated as income, but also states that there's discretion by the trier of fact for the inclusion of to even impose an order against somebody who doesn't make enough for their family. And
do you receive SSI, sir?
I do not. I don't. But like I said, I receive welfare benefits.
Okay. So you get food stamps?
Yes.
Okay. What else do you receive?
Health care. I was paying for health care for my whole family with my employers, but now that I'm not working, I'm on welfare. Health care.
All right.
Also, I'd like...
Hang on. You've indicated that there's no medical or health-related issues that prevent you from working. Is that correct?
I was hospitalized in 2017 for organ failure, intestinal organ failure, and I was in and out of the hospital for 3 months. That interfered with my ability to do physical labor, and because of that, I had tried to get information sent over to the office, and the office called me a fraud, said that they called the hospitals for my hospital records without my knowledge or anything, and they were told that I was never there. Last year I gave you that paperwork that showed that I had more than 3,000 pages of just a few different procedures that I had. And I have to live with with that every day. But as far as disability, I am not claiming any disability because, like I said, I do whatever I absolutely have to make sure that I have a paycheck to pay my bills. But with me possibly dying before I'm 40 because of my health and my body's worn out, and I've done nothing but work for free, entirely because of our government agents not doing their jobs correctly and the falsifications of all my claims that I made on my filing. I have no motivation, no reason to go back to work when now my wife is going back to work, so I can take care of the family at home. I can take care of my child, make sure that she's ready for school. I can pick her up from school, take her to her extracurricular activities. She's a dancer, she's a gymnast, and a few other things. And like I said, I'm a stay-at-home dad now. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm $150,000 in debt because I've been living off of my school loans.
That's okay, sir. Ms. Watkovich, anything further?
No.
I'm going to take the matter under advisement, and I'll issue a recommended order, and that'll conclude our hearing for today. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too.